I mean, this is just, I think in many ways the way John Horst likes to do business. I was thinking back to 2020 when they traded for Drew Holiday, and there were rumors that, the Pelicans might trade Drew, and, there's conversations about, what team could he go to? Like, I think that was pre-Big Three Nets. So I was like, oh, maybe the Nets will make a deal and do some of these things. And then all of a sudden, oh, he's going to the Milwaukee Bucks. And it's just like, oh, okay, sure, let's do that. And this is, for the most part, Horst doesn't really like to try to telegraph any of his moves. And this was a situation where obviously you and I have spent months talking about this, and we don't even talk that often. Like you and I have spent months on this podcast talking about, Lillard to the Heat or the Raptors or wherever. And, like we kind of talked through this, and then just at the end, you see John Horst swoop in, and it's kind of a really gutsy move. It's an aggressive move. It is a very John Horst move. I remember when they swung the deal for Drew Holiday. Giannis had not yet signed a supermax extension. This was a deal to try to help him, understand just how serious they are about contending, and screw the draft picks down the road. That doesn't matter. We don't need them. We need this guy. And the package of draft picks isn't quite as big this time around, largely probably because the Bucks just don't have that many anymore. Like they just barely started to get a couple, future pick swaps and an actual first that they could trade. So the package had to be a little bit smaller, but in many ways, you're looking at a very similar deal, right? Like you're taking your starting point guard, you're adding some things to the package of your starting point guard to get a better starting point guard. And for as good as Drew Holiday is, obviously he was part of the big three that led the Bucks to their first championship in 50 seasons. He was an all-star last season. He was on the cusp of all NBA. Damian Lillard was not on the cusp of all NBA. He was all NBA. He averaged 32 points per game, 7 assists per game. He's still one of the most lethal outside shooters in the game. For as good as Drew Holiday is, and I do think he is truly spectacular, Dame Lillard is just a better basketball player. And right now, when you're looking at what the Bucks are thinking, it is those picks in the future, the salary cap implications in the future. That's fine. We're gonna go out and win right now, and hopefully, in some way, show the big fella that yeah, we are committed to winning, and that's what we're gonna try to do.
Hey, it's sports, man. That's your job. Your job is to go out and try to win basketball games. And it's nice to see what we're going to call a small market go out and say, no, we're going to try to keep this thing going. And, the last time we spoke, it was hot on the heels of Giannis applying pressure to the organization. Clearly, that pressure worked. They went out and upgraded it at the one spot and upgraded with a guy who, at least offensively, you can see the vision in the fit with Damian Lillard and adding him to the existing core of Chris Middleton and Giannis. The spacing that he's going to provide on offense is going to make everyone's life just much easier.
I mean, I think to me, through the 5 years of Mike Budenholzer, right? Like those are the 5 years of contention that you're talking about with the Milwaukee Bucks. A pick and roll involving Giannis as the screener always ended the same way in the playoffs, with the other team daring the point guard, go ahead, shoot. We don't care. As long as that guy isn't rolling to the rim with the ball in his hands in a sliver of space, we don't care. You can try to beat us. You can score as many as you want. And to Drew Holiday's credit, in the championship run, he did make just enough fourth quarter jumpers. He made just enough plays that when you played him that way, the Bucks ended up winning in the end. But there's no daring Dame Lillard to shoot. He will shoot it and he will make it. And he will do it over and over and over again until you figure it out. And you figure out how to stop that. And the bad news is if you decide to double or blitz the ball out of his hands, Giannis playing 4-on-3 seems like a pretty strong advantage for the Milwaukee Bucks in a half court scenario. It's just really, you think about what Steph has been able to do with Draymond Green. just turn that up about 5 notches for what Giannis as a rim runner can look like with the floor spaced in that way because of the insane gravity that Dame Lillard has on the ball. I mean, I do think, you're always trying to think a trade, a week before we get into training camp, a trade 3 weeks before the season starts. How is it going to work? Like, can you put it all together? Can you put together a strategy? Can you figure out how this is going to work? And this one to me feels pretty seamless. Like the skill set that Dame Lillard has, you can in many ways just say, all right, Dame, let's go to work. And obviously Giannis is still going to get his touches in different ways, but just that's the best pick and roll partner Giannis ever had. That's the best teammate Giannis has ever had. Like that is the level of move that you're talking about by trading for Dame Lillard. And yes, he is a little bit older, but he's still 33 years old, which is the same age as Drew Holiday. He has all those years on his contract. That might be seen as a good thing because maybe that means Giannis wants to stick around for all those years as well. Even though the salary cap and the luxury tax and the repeater bills are going to be very heavy. Like you said, this is an aggressive move. This is a team trying to win games. This is a team trying to get better. And I think, as I've said on your podcast before, like you don't hang banners for the best asset accumulation.
Right.
You hang banners for championships, and that is very much what this move is pushing the Bucks just further along in trying to win a championship. And I think once you get done, with the accounting here, if they're not the favorites, they're certainly closer to being the favorites than they were yesterday if we would have spoke at this exact same time.